This is live, is that alright?
Yeah, I'm cool.
Oh, you
wish I could go live.
Oh yeah.
I'm banned from streaming.
Really?
Yeah.
I seen a couple of your things pop up the other day.
The last video I did, I had to record it and upload it because I'm banned from streaming.
Yeah.
I got banned for taking advantage of Facebook's change in the algorithm about killing Russians.
Yeah.
Because they said you could talk about killing Russians and it was fine.
I mean, it's something I've noticed. Obviously, it feels a bit sinister what they're doing at the minute, the way they talk about Russian and like...
The whole thing's it's a clown world, obviously. It's completely upside down. So we're banning their media so that you can have a balanced and proportionate...
Yeah, I mean, I think no matter what you think of the issue, I don't know enough on the issue, I'm being honest. Live, I don't know enough on it, but see the way they're treating that Abramovich, who runs Chelsea. It's like, well, just because he's a billionaire doesn't mean you can just confiscate his stuff. Like, he's meant to be a guest here. That's not how we treat guests in Britain.
I think there's an inevitability about one world government. It's just the trajectory that we're on, which means it's really important that individuals have rights, regardless of the superstate.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm for independence at my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want one of those autonomous regions, like the Donbass region, at my house.
I think we could all do that just now.
Yeah.
But Deek, you've been involved with the movement for quite a while. How do you find it's going just now? Do you think it's taking a wee pause, or do you think we're still going strong?
I think a vocal minority is good.
Yeah.
And it's good to see the same people as you who think and feel the same about what they're against or for. But everybody should acknowledge the fact we're going to be steamrollers. We're totally going to be steamrollers. All these people, the machine, the masses, the mainstream, they're not going to be beaten by us. They'll have to fall from within.
Yeah.
So,
do you not think it's like, it's a basic common sense tactic? So like, if the resistance to what's happening is growing and growing, surely the most...
We might want to fall
yeah. Yeah, so surely it's a common sense tactic. So if the resistance is growing and growing, to surely, for them to press the pause button on restrictions is surely an obvious tactic. But people aren't really seeing it that way. They're just seeing, all they're seeing is that some restrictions are going, but not all of them. And they seem to be happy with that, so...
I mean, I see a world where 99% of the people are perfectly happy with what's happening because they can flush their toilet and buy a cold beer. I don't see a world that's up in arms for significant change to the way we do things. I mean, yeah, we see that people are unhappy with what Russia's doing in Ukraine, but we don't see people unhappy with what happened in Yemen.
No.
Because that supports us pumping gas and having a cold beer and a pizza.
I feel like the way I look at it is, I think we've lost the crowd here, but it's like we wait for Match of the Day to tell us what to think. Whatever Match of the Day are supporting is what we've got to support. Like, the whole Yemen thing was like, I mean, again, I'm not like an expert on geopolitics, but you don't really have to be an expert to see that Yemen's been really targeted for a while. Like, I mean, there's pictures of like kids like malnourished, and it's just an absolute mess.
380,000 dead, exclusively with the bombs we make and sell.
And I don't know what the Yemen flag looks like. So, I mean, what does that tell you? Like, I mean, I feel like when I shut my eyes at night, I've got the yellow and blue, like subliminal.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know enough. I don't know enough, but it's like you say, it's like they're treating exactly the same situations differently. I mean, what?
It couldn't be more the same.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia bombing a country because it doesn't like the people who run it.
Yeah.
And it says they're a security threat.
Yeah.
It sounds exactly the same to me.
Yeah.
So where's the sanctions on them?
Yeah.
When are we going to get rid of the Saudi money in London? We're not. Bullshit.
Nurses and orderlies. With Dancing for Doctors,
that's part of what I say. Nobody's unhappy really, except
in no time,
the vocal minority.
Your money back.
Most people, they love this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do.
I do think it's an element of people enjoying it. I mean, I was in a library once, and this woman came up and told me to wear a mask. The place was empty. Like, I mean, it was so empty, and the woman just seemed so proud of herself. And I thought, you're getting a wee kick from this.
Oh yeah, like. But I mean, I think beyond the pandemic and the war. People love consumer capitalism and nationalism. The idea that you're a member of a country and that gives you an identity. I don't think enough people have had acid.
Now, this is an interesting one, and it's something I think about a lot, and I'm kind of on the fence. So, I've always thought as nationalism as like a deterrent to like this one world government, but then if you look at the way Sturgeon behaves, it's very globalist. So, where do you think nationalism fits into this debate?
It gives you a sense of identity that you can hang on to while they strip your real rights as an individual.
Yeah.
So they tell you that your country's safe because it's recognised as an independent sovereign country.
Yeah.
But then within that country, the government, sanctioned by the One World government, gets to tell you to stay indoors, shut up, go to jail.
I suppose nationalism is almost like a shortcut to collectivism, isn't it? Because like automatically, if you can boost nationalism, you could maybe say, well, we've got something we can all nod heads on. Do you know what I mean? In one fell swoop.
It's gangsterism. It's like there's one big don somewhere handing out control of certain territories, and it's done through, alleging that the UN and all the countries that have borders and governments are legitimate, but you as a person, you're not unless you're subscribing to a national identity and taking part in that cultural thing, and you're asking for your rights within the framework of a nation. I don't want my rights within the framework of a nation. I want my rights as a person on the planet. My rights, they should be inalienable regardless of the nation that I'm in.
So how do we, if us as a movement keep going, I actually feel positive, right? I feel positive about our movement, and I think there is connections growing. How do we establish these freedoms as opposed to defending them?
Well, that's a big discussion. I mean, you've got to fight within the framework they give you, which is unfortunate, so recourse to the law. Now, it's the case that the Maori people of New Zealand used laws that were in place when their country was colonised to get back the land that was taken off them, because those land grabs and colonisations were illegal per the laws that existed in the country at the time. So,
like the European laws that came in, or the native laws that...
I think they were like British laws.
Right.
About property rights. So, if the fairy story says we have recourse to the law, then that's what you got to do.
You have to work in the system.
You've got to take recourse to the law. Crowdfunding legal action.
You've seen in Canada what happened with the crowdfunding.
I know, that's why they don't like it.
It's wee things like that like your middle ground that are probably on our side don't actually look into. The kind of sort of maybe middle group that are probably with us, they don't see stuff like crowdfunding getting...
I know, it's a new form of collective action. You don't all have to be out on the street. You can be on the internet, you can chip in you can help with the crowdfunding of a cause. Now they're trying to put a stop to that by criminalising Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, so that you can't operate like a foreign agent. You can't help the people of Canada. You won't be allowed to give them money. They will strip them of the money they receive from overseas. But in order to do that, they've got to track cryptocurrencies and block. So we allow transnational corporations to rape the planet, form a limited company, fuck Bolivia, steal its copper, bribe the government. But we don't allow you and me to give money to the people of fucking Canada who want to stand up to their government. And that is the way they like it. So one of the things I would say is consider forming a legitimate limited company and operating as a corporation. Culture jamming, fight fire with fire. If these people were all shareholders in a limited company, we could operate with even wider scope and impunity.
That's an interesting one. I've got to say one I've never actually considered, but...
Corporate community.
Because they protect corporations, so if you...
So look at what they like. They like limited companies and the property rights and the rights of groups of investors to do business. Hey, let's become a group of investors that want to do business.
That's maybe an idea that we can push.
Corporate community.
Corporate community. We need to think outside the box of things like that, because...
Start a limited company, gather around some investors, and then all of a sudden, you're the chief executive officer of a legitimate private business.
And they're obligated to protect you because of their own boundaries.
That's right. They can't throw out the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah.
We don't like what you're doing. Well, we're just doing what you do.
Yeah. And Deek, so lastly, so like, obviously your music's obviously contributed a lot to the cause. How's the music scene going just now? Is there more stuff to come?
I'm working on another album, 21st Century Folk. I'm hoping it will be out for this year's busking season, which is pretty much here.
And where can we find your stuff?
It's all iTunes, Spotify, YouTube Music, Deezer. I'm all
just under Deek Jackson.
Yeah, you look for Deek Jackson, you'll find all my stuff. Although I've got even more stuff at Bandcamp. Deek Jackson. That's kind of
Bandcamp.
That's where I put my stuff before it becomes an album.
Yeah.
So if you want it really fresh, go to Bandcamp.
That's an exclusive, another exclusive today. Well, thanks, Deek. That was a really interesting conversation. Actually, one of my favourite interviews. Get a really good few ones lately, so that was good. Thanks for doing the music, and thanks for being involved with the movement for so long. A long time before me, so a big thanks from guys like us that have just came in. So really appreciate it. And
I just enjoy this kind of thing. I like to sort of poke the eye of, and I don't harbour any illusions that we're necessarily going to win or make any great changes, but just poking them in the eye.
Someone said, I actually seen this on a Telegram chat, that someone said, what's the point in doing this? I mean, it's like anything in life. You ask out a girl, you don't know if they're going to say yes. You go for a job, you don't know if you're going to get it. You take part in a sport, you don't know if you're going to win. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather be here. The crowd's actually picking up quite a bit here. I'd rather be out here in the capital.
I would rather be walking along the road saying fuck the government than not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You go home feeling good, don't you?
Well, I feel pretty good most of the time. But what I like about this is that there are people like me who are not happy with what's happening.
Yeah.
And just
like it's affected them personally.
Yeah, like just seeing them in one place makes you feel less like a kind of Don Quixote tilting
outcast.
At windmills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not that lone mad.
I think that the phrase you use in the movement I've heard is find your tribe, so it's a bit like that, isn't it? Like finding your tribe a wee bit.
Like-minded people. There is a lot of different actual beliefs underpinning what bring people out here. I'm not a religious person. I'm actually fundamentally sort of cynical, critical of the idea of organised religion. But the rights of people to have a religion that believes certain things are part of my... I want that for you.
What I've noticed in the religious element is, so I think like we were talking about nationalism, and again, Paige is totally neutral, but I feel like we've got to reclaim a bit of what Scotland is. That's just my opinion. I've noticed that some of the religious group that's came in, they're all trying to like reclaim what to be a Christian is. I think it's an interesting discussion, because they must have people that's in their groups that maybe disagree, so it's quite interesting to see the religious stuff. Right, Deek, that was really good. Nice to meet you properly, and we'll see you again soon. Yeah, thanks Deek, take care. Brilliant, thank you Deek. Oh, look at this. Oh my god. Ah, we got a high five as well. Amazing. We've got dogs for freedom, that's what it's all about. Funny, what's your dog called? Enzo. Enzo's the real freedom fighter here. We're stopping on the bridge. What's happening?
Why are we stopping?
Why are we stopping? Which Elizabeth?
We were trying to take him away. They said everybody get one, we're meant to go that way.
Some people went that way.
Oh, we've had to go on with that. The first one to this way, and that was the right, we're the opposite, we're the same.
They said there's something to do with the roadworks. This has been kind of good live, by the way. I got Deek Jackson. Yeah, it was good. I got the Scottish Libertarian parties on the video. Yeah.
No, I've done before, I understand.
Do you know him?
Good guy.
Should we back them? Making plans on live. Have you enjoyed today, Kristen?
Yes.
Are you glad you came? Because you weren't going to come, were you?
No, I wasn't going to come, but we would miss this. It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. There's still probably time to join us as well. We're on the Waverley Bridge. Really? Right, we're going to come off just now, folks. Come and join us. Catch the sun. See you in a bit.